Hi everybody, welcome. I'm Liz Wheeler and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US, and today I want to share with you a 5x7 Bendy Fun Fold card. Here it is. It comes out, it lays flat, and it's in a 5x7 envelope, and it mails nicely. You might want to put a piece of cardstock over it and then for the mailing, and in case you use any embellishments like I did. But it comes out of the envelope and the recipient puts it down like that. And it's just a lovely, lovely wow card, but it's so easy to make. So I've used the Fern and Flora bundle to cut this out, and the Moonlit Flora paper from Stampin' Up. So here's my instruction list. I'll let you take a screenshot of that. I'll try to remember to show that at the end. So let's get started. We're going to make this card. We're going to start with a 5x7. This is a piece of Secret Sea, and we're going to score it in half. I'm going to score it in half at 350, 3.5. Now, I want this to be a mountain fold because it's going to fold that way. So 3.5, and then the mountain is on this side because it's going to fold like this. Okay? And before we go any further, we're going to stamp that. I want to give the back a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to do that with the Fern and Flora set. And I'm going to use some of these stamps, and I've already mounted them on my block. So it's 2 ferns, and then a flower, and a butterfly or a moth. And we're going to do tone on tone. So I'm going to take my Secret Sea and ink that up. There we go. And it's just going to kind of give it a little bit of dimension, kind of interest all over the page. Most of it will be covered up. I want to make sure that I get the edges. That's mainly what I'm concerned about. This kind of makes for a nice quick way to get some design on your paper. Okay, and I think we're done. Wash that off. Okay, so now we've got that part done. The next thing is the middle. And the middle is a 4x6. And it's going to be scored a 1/2 inch on each edge and then down the middle. So it'll be at 3. So, and I'm going to score it all on the front side up. So I'm going to do a 1/2 inch. And it's DSP. It's a designer paper, so it's not as thick as cardstock. So you want to be careful when you're scoring. And then a 1/2. So we have a 1/2 on each end, and then 1/2 inch on each edge, and 1/2 down the middle. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold and burnish those. And this one is going to fold out. So that's why I put all of those folds on the outside. And when this is on here, you see the other side of this is a berry colored. And I want to try and minimize seeing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut from the fold a little corner off like that. Just miter that. And hopefully that'll help keep from when it's sitting up on the table or on a windowsill or wherever the person displays it, you're not going to see it as easily. Do you see that? So the way that we do that is we're going to put a little bit of glue on the tabs right down here and here. And all we have to do is line up our lines, our score lines. So, and I'm going to put it right in the middle. Okay, that's pretty good. Isn't this paper beautiful? And then that goes up like that. Okay, you can still see the purple in there, but it's not as noticeable because we've cut that edge off. I see I have a little bit of leakage, and if you have a microfiber towel, you can just wipe it, and that seems to get it. And then if it dries later, I can take a gum eraser and get it off. Looks like I did here too. So there we go. Now you see how this stamping just kind of added interest around the edge. The next piece that we need is a 3/4 by 8, okay? And I have already scored it at a 1/2 inch on either end. And we're going to fold those in. And this is for the bendy part on the bottom. Now, you can see here the berry part, so I'm going to cut those corners off as well, so they're not as noticeable. And this is the last piece on this card. As far as big pieces, we'll add a sentiment. And we're just going to glue the tabs down at the end. So I'm going to put this I do. And this should go right straight across and lay flat. Okay. And there you have it. There's your bendy card. Okay. So let's decorate. This stamp set comes with stamps and this die. I bought the bundle, and it's got a label. It's got some outlines for the stamps, and then it's got some pieces here that you can cut out of cardstock. So I'm going to take a fern like this. Isn't that beautiful? That's in our new pine. Let's see. Peaceful pine. And I've got some soft sea foam, and here's some old olive, a little fiddle fern. It kind of matches that, and put that here. And then I've got a mossy meadow fern here. I'm going to put him in. All the greens in the world. All the greens. It's just gorgeous. And put that here. And then I thought I would put this. So I'm just kind of making a nice little jumble here that we can glue together. And I thought I'd put it right here on the edge, similar to the other one. So now, got some flowers here too. But I'm going to take out my mat, my silicone mat, and put a little bit of glue on there. And I've got a brush that it's a basing brush that I've cut off. And I'm just going to kind of dab that. And I'm going to, because this will kind of, and then I'll pick another spot and dab this so that these two can go together. So like that. Okay, and then this fern can go here. Put that together. And then my fiddle fern. Okay. Now, I'll let that dry a little. And then what I do is I take my, can't find my pillow, so I'll use this one. This is powder, and I do not want it to stick to the back of this. So if I shake enough out, that'll take the sticky off the glue. And the glue is gone. Now, I'm going to just stick this on here. And all I want to do is, well, I suppose I could just pick up this glue, couldn't I? And stick that right through like that. Now, if I feel a little bit of sticky here, then I'll just turn it over and take my my powder, and do that again. So, there it is. Stick up like that. Kind of gives it a 3D look. I also have these flowers. I wanted to show you how to put those together. I've got some done, but when you get the dies, the die is, it's gone. Well, this is what you get on that die. I have to find that die. Oh, here it is. It's right here. It's this. You get a big flower, a little flower, and then a half flower. And that's this half flower here. Whoops. So what you do to put this together is, here's the big flower. Let's take the big flower first. And this is a little bit wider, so let me bring you down so you can see, whoops, what I'm doing. And this is a little skinnier, you see, in the middle, and that goes here. So we just take a little dot and put that together like that. And then we take our star, and there's a bigger star and a smaller star, and then that half star. And you put the star right in the middle. And there you have a big flower. Again, this one's wide. Then you have a skinnier one. This one's a little skinnier. And put a little dot here. This goes on like this. And then, if it oozes out enough, you don't even need to put another dot on. We'll just put a little one on. There we go. And there's a small one. Now this one is a little tricky. I start here and I put the white on next. And I'm going to put, there's a wider part here. That's where the glue goes. Right there. Then your little white thing, kind of a scoopy, that's going to go in the middle like that. I put it up a little higher because this, you see how it has a divot in here? That's so that you can see that. And that's going to go right on top. So all I need is glue on the sides. So I'm going to put glue here and here. Whoops. Put a little higher. And they're going to, even though they're die cuts, all the flowers will end up looking a little bit different. There, that goes there. Okay, and so now I've got some flowers, and I can kind of put them around. So I have cut from the label and then stamp this down. And I'd like to show you that what you do for the label, when you do that stamp, let's take that out. When you take this stamp out, there's not a lot of, it's very flimsy. So you want it to keep it in its shape. So you turn it over on your desk and let it be in its shape. And then pick it up with your block. You pick it up with your block. And that way you're going to get straight edges. Sometimes when we're putting this on, we can unknowingly scooch it in and it gets uneven. You think you're doing it straight. You think you are. And sometimes it doesn't happen that way. This will inevitably come in, or it'll get crooked or lopsided. So that's a good way to do it. So you just lay it down on your mat or your table, and then you pick it up. Okay? So I made this one, Thankful for You and Your Amazing Friends. So let's just take a look. I have, this is out of the soft sea foam, and that's green like the other one. And if I want a thank you card, here's a white. I think that white really pops. So that looks pretty cool. And so I think I'm going to make a thank you card. And another thing that I do when I have mistakes, if I have a mistake, I don't throw these away. If I come up on the one that I stamp like it's crooked or whatever, I save it, because sometimes you want to lay them on top of each other and make it thicker. And that's a nice look also. So on this one, I think though, I'm going to put some dimensionals on that. And that'll have it stand up a little bit. And then I think we'll put one of our flowers on there. Maybe the small one. Right down here. And I think I'll put a dimensional on that. Whoop, that's too big, so I'm going to have to take a smaller one. Take a small dimensional. Put that there. There we go. Oh, how pretty. So then there's not really anywhere where you can sign on here, so we'll flip it over and add You Make the World a Better Place. And this is roughly a 3 by 4 1/4, 4.5 inch rectangle. I just ran it off on my, whoops, I just ran it off on my arches dies. So I'm just gonna put that there. have a place to sign. And there we have it. Now, one last thing that I wanted to add. On this other card, you might have noticed, here I have a little flower in sort of the diorama also. So what I did was I ran off these two dies, and then I cut the flower off the golden glow and put that on here so that it ended up looking like this. And I'm going to put that right here in the corner because I just think that's just so cute. And yeah, it should be enough. Adds a little something, something right on the edge. And then for the finishing off, the dewdrops embellishments match beautifully. These are Secret Sea. This is looks like a lemon lime twist or a old olive. And I think I'm gonna go here, here, and here. Okay, there you have it. Thankful for you. You make the world a better place. So there you have it. The Bendy Fun Fold card. And as I said, I saw this on a video that Susan Canfield and I think I wrote it back here, Linda Dalkey, they were showing their swaps on the cruise. So this was on the cruise when I saw it. And this swap was by a French demonstrator called Vic. And he had made this. And it was I believe it was an A2 size. So I made mine a 5x7. It's a little bit bigger. I stamped the envelope with that same, I used the same arrangement with Mossy Meadow. And that'll go right in like that for the recipient. So there you have it. Here's the sheet that you can take a screenshot. And there we have it. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Have a good day.